From the WDXY studios in historic downtown Sumter, At Your Service Home Care presents Medical Forum with moderator Jeff Reed.
Welcome to Medical Forum on this happy July 4th. Everybody, I hope, is enjoying their Saturday while we vigorously work out here, Dr. Marr.
Absolutely.
Are we eating at your house
You have plans
tonight?
This afternoon?
What are we going to do? You going to hit a golf ball after this? It's 10 to 11. We'll get to our guests. We think Mr. Glenn Givens coming in to see us and on this 4th of July to talk about great things, legal issues and such. But what are you going to do this afternoon?
Well, I'm going to hit a golf ball if my wife allows me to.
All right, so you're not playing golf. What else you think? So you're cleaning out the garage?
Cleaning out the garage and going to the pool with the kids.
Oh, man. Well, good to have you. Hey, everyone, thank you for tuning in here on the Saturday Morning Medical Forum. Want to give a shout-out to our sponsor, At Your Service Home Care, your concierge steward guide to home care and beyond. Check them out on 1250 Wilson Hall Road. Give them a call, 803-607-9677, or visit them on the web, www.ays/homecare.com. And
Jeff, we had a great show last week with Michael Murley and Midlands Tac.
I want to thank them for a lot of knowledge and what they do for the community.
And really, I had no idea that they were so, had so much more of an impact on the community than they really do, doing so much more than just the private company, the private ambulance service. They also do the 911 backup. And so, when you're calling, 911, there's a chance that they could be coming to your house and taking care of you.
Well, and also I think it's great that people can also reflect and know that they have the choice to ask for them. So sometimes we think of an ambulance coming because it's an emergency not planned, but a lot of these we found out, whether it's going to dialysis or to needing transportation to doctor's appointments, maybe at Columbia, MUSC and such, will be planned. So give them a call and you'll get nothing but the best. And the other thing I think we learned is what a great opportunity if you're a high school graduate, a college.
Looking for a great career in EMS.
Yeah. And the jobs are plentiful.
Absolutely. Private industry as well as public service.
So if you can't go to law school, like our guest, Mr. Givens here, there is a tremendous opportunity out there. But we want to thank MedTech and all them for coming in. And great show, as today will be. And without further ado, today I think is a very special show for us because in the businesses that we have in the medical community, we constantly get these questions asked. And I will be the first one to tell you I generally don't have any of the answers for people because we're talking about legal and we're talking about power of attorney and we're talking about living wills. So what I do know is I know that we have a great expert who's in the house with us on this 4th of July, and Mr. Glenn Givens, and he's going to share a wealth of information. So everyone listening in, I think this is going to be a great educational show. Anyone who's planning their own will or have children or are the children of an elder person. So, Glenn, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm happy to be here and happy to talk about this subject. It's a needed subject, which is a lot of people really aren't completely aware of.
All right. Well, give us a little bit of background. I know this Sumter's your hometown, I believe. I think some people might recognize the last name. But Glenn, give us some background and maybe also give us real quickly where you work and how they can contact you.
Sure. A little bit of background. Was here, born and raised. Sumter Toomey Hospital, up through Sumter High School, class of '87, and then went to Wake Forest undergrad, Wake Forest School of Law, and got a Master of Tax Accounting from USC and Master of Tax Law from Villanova, and did some legal work over in Florida and in Florence, and some CPA work over in Columbia. And now I'm here, back in Sumter. Happy to be here. Happy to be back with the other Sumterites, working at 107 North Main Street with Colt, Murphy, and Givens.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. Now, Chris, you don't know this, or you might know this, but when he was at Wake Forest, there was a girl that came from Sumter who played basketball at Wake Forest named B.J. Thames.
Who has later become...
Unfortunately for her, BJ Reed. No, my wife. And
what years was she there?
She was there from 89 to 93. And she was a very accomplished basketball player, but Glenn and her go way back. And Glenn's father was a tremendous physician here in town and was a physician for my wife's family for quite some time. So we're very honored to have you. Great, tremendous into the community. And again, that's Glenn Givens at Cole Murphy and Givens 418-0801. How do we start the show? There's so many topics that we want to talk with Glenn. One word that I get a lot is power of attorney or durable power of attorney. So as we start this first segment, can we start off with that as a point of reference? What is a power of attorney / durable power of attorney?
Sure, certainly. When we talk about that, we talk about that really sometimes with a special durable power of attorney or special power of attorney, but the most common term is a general durable power of attorney, where we have one person who's a principal who's giving powers to basically another person who's an agent, and they're giving a whole gamut of different powers of over their financial aspects of their life as well as their the personal aspects of their life. I mean, it's a document basically that's executed, witnessed, almost like a will basically, and then in order to be effectuated, it has to be filed at the Register of Deeds. So it's not effective until it's actually filed. But typically we're talking about a general power of attorney where one person, again, the principal, has been giving another person, the agent, to do things on their behalf. And typically it's for when that principal becomes incapacitated, or they could be out of the country. But if they become incapacitated due to stroke or coma or something along those lines, then that other agent, I mean, they can keep doing things for them. I mean, they don't. That's a good starting point.
Yeah. So Glenn, when we talk about, and maybe for the people listening out there, the principal, let's call maybe like a mother or father who's getting up there in age, and an agent being maybe the eldest son. Is that kind of when we talk about the principal would be the person that is coming to you to have their assets, I guess, put down on paper in a form of a durable power of attorney, and giving the agent, maybe the son out there, the ability to execute these if they get incapacitated. Is that?
Yeah, I mean that's it in a nutshell. I mean, it could be the eldest son, and it could be, say, the eldest son was out of state. It could be the daughter who lives with the parent.
Well, hold that thought, because I think a power of attorney is a word that is always thrown in my office, Dr. Marr, probably yours as well. We're coming up on our first station break. We're here with Glenn Givens. Give him a call at 418-0801. We got a lot to talk about, and we'll finish up with durable power of attorney when we come right back.
Back with the latest in health and medical news on Medical Forum, presented by At Your Service Home Care, WDXY 1240 AM and 105.9 FM.
Here's a good policy from Bynum Insurance and Auto Owners Insurance. When you buy home and car insurance, you'll receive a multi-policy discount. And when you buy life insurance, you'll get a special discount on your home and car insurance. Auto Owners will save you money on all of the insurance you already have. Now that's good policy. This is Sandy Wilson with Bynum Insurance. Call me for all your insurance needs at 803-469-3030.
After my surgery, I heard my children discussing their fear for me to live alone. I wasn't ready to give up my home and freedom, so I called At Your Service Home Care, and now I have my own concierge. It's owned locally by medical professionals. They work with me to make sure that I recovered from my surgery. Now I can stay at home and I have a new friend that I enjoy spending time with. If I need help around the house or have insurance or legal questions or just getting to my hairdresser, they help me with it all. Call At Your Service today for your free consultation, 607-9677.
Reliable Medical Equipment has been locally owned and operated since 1999 and provides a full range of medical equipment and services. Our accredited facility has a fully certified staff, and we are here to assist you with all your diabetic shoe, custom bracing, and prosthetic needs. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, and most private insurances. We're located at 246 Broad Street. Call 934-9212 or 435-9927 for our Manning location, which is at 37 West Rigby Street, voted Best Prosthetic and Orthotic Business for 7 years.
The doctor will see you now.
Are you new to Sumter or been here a while and in need of a new family health care provider? Look no further than the excellent care provided by the physicians and staff at Carolina Family Medicine. Carolina Family Medicine includes Dr. Philip Jansen and Dr. Tracy Ridgel, who both specialize in family medicine, and they're here to take care of you and your family, now accepting new patients. So call them today to schedule your appointment at 774-7425 or find out more at cfmsumter.com.
The doctor will see you now.
This is Medical Forum, presented by At Your Service Home Care.
And we're back with Medical Forum on this Saturday morning, July 4th. We are here talking today with Glenn Givens from Kolb, Murphy & Givens Law Firm, talking about issues involving the elderly. I'd like to give a shout out today to Toomey Hospital. Thanks for your support of Medical Forum, and go over and see the Jeff Fall and those guys over at the Toomey Foundation. Glenn, we were left off. We were talking about power of attorney, and talking about a little bit of the durable component to that term. Maybe if you could give us a little bit more information on that.
Sure, certainly. The complete legal name for the most common document used with these financial type powers of attorney is the general durable power of attorney, and that connotates the fact that the document will basically endure. That's a good little word trick I like to use to remember that, but it endures the incapacity of someone. If it's just a general power of attorney and they sign it and then they become incapacitated, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's still a live, good document after they become incapacitated. But if it has the word durable in there, and it also has the specific words, this power of attorney shall not be affected by physical disability or mental incompetence of the principal, which renders the principal incapable of managing his own estate, it will go ahead and endure their incapacity. So that's kind of some light on that.
Let me ask you this. Let's say that somebody's gone through the steps to do this. And I think one thing that, at least in my book, I would highly recommend you seek a professional. I know that the internet offers a tremendous amount of paperwork that you can pull down things on the internet. But when you talk about registering this and all the I's being dotted and the T's being crossed, I highly recommend that you seek a professional who can get this done. This is a big event. And which brings me to my question. Can you revoke a general durable power of attorney? Have you seen that happen where maybe I've written to where you always hear, I'm going to write them out of my will kind of thing, Revoking one, is that something that also needs to be addressed?
Sure, certainly. Yes, you can certainly revoke a general durable power of attorney. There's two main ways it's revoked. I mean, the first way is if someone has a durable power of attorney and then they die because it's no longer any good after someone passes. But the second way is to sign a new general durable power of attorney, and the signing that new general durable power of attorney, especially if it has language that revokes all prior durable powers of attorney, and filing that one will revoke the prior one, as well as signing a revocation of durable power of attorney where you specify that you're revoking that. And the conservative view is to go ahead and file that too, whether the first one was filed or not. So people are put on notice and given notice about that.
Now, when you talk about filing, if I'm one of these, I can do it myself. I pull down on the internet, I get the form, we'll call myself, in this case, the agent. I have the principal sign it, but I don't record it. Is it a valid durable power of attorney, or have I not accomplished the entire steps to validate?
No. You have to sign it. It has to be witnessed, and it has to be filed at the Register of Deeds office for the main county that you're working with. So
I can see that being a step left out, couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the guy pulls it down. Some people, where would I even go to do this? So, well, let's do this. Let's change subjects a little bit, because I know that an hour is going to fly by, because it always does. Living wills. That's another thing that people come up and want to talk about. So between power of attorney, durable power of attorney, I think what we learned about that was we have a principal, we have an agent. See your attorney. If you do want to revoke it, you can do that, which again, I think it consults a professional, and always have it registered with the city, the county, and what have you. But a living will, what exactly does that mean?
Certainly.
Layman's terms, maybe.
Certainly. And living will is basically a synonym for what in South Carolina is known as a declaration for desire of natural death. That's the actual document, but it's just short for. Living will is just short for that. Declaration for desire of natural death, 13 syllables. Living will is 3, but it's basically a document whereby an individual declares that in certain circumstances, which I call a bad situation, let's say they're in an irreversible coma, they're in a persistent vegetative state, they're about to die in several hours or within, say, 2 days, that if that's the situation and they sign this document, then they are agreeing to have life-sustaining treatment taken from them.
And it can be as novice. We've met before, and we used your services before, and the information. This could be even getting down to say, I'm not going to hydrate myself, which obviously the human body needs hydration. Is that correct? Where it's not just okay, I'm not going to take dialysis, or I'm not going to do. It can get down to even limiting hydration.
Certainly,
I believe. Certainly,
yes. It does have that option in there, where if you sign, once you've signed that living will, that's the document itself saying, okay, you've declared that in this situation you want the breathing machines off, but also within that declaration itself, it states that yes, you do have the options of whether or not you want the nutrition and hydration within the document.
And that refers to artificially administering nutrition and hydration.
True.
Right. So we're not talking about limiting someone's natural consumption of food or fluids, but we're talking about IV administration, for instance, of nutrition, or IV administration of fluids, correct?
Correct, and as well as tube feeding.
Tube feeding, absolutely.
So as we come up, we got about a minute in this second segment. With a living will, I guess, is there some similarities between, and maybe give us the half part of it, and then we'll come back to the second half. Are there similarities between a living will and kind of a health care power of attorney that I've heard of?
Yes, there certainly are. Both.
Tell you what, before you get started, because I got a feeling that's something that we really want to cover. We're coming up on our short break here. Got Mr. Glenn Givens here with Call Murphy and Givens down on 107 North Main Street. Come back and we'll talk about the similarities between a living will and a health care power of attorney, and we'll continue to learn more when we come back after this message.
We'll be back with Medical Forum, presented by At Your Service Home Care on Sumter's home for news, talk, and sports, WDXY 1240 AM and 105.9 FM.
The doctor will see you now.
Are you new to Sumter or been here a while and in need of a new family health care provider? Look no further than the excellent care provided by the physicians and staff at Carolina Family Medicine. Carolina Family Medicine includes Dr. Philip Jansen and Dr. Tracy Ridgel, who both specialize in family medicine. And they're here to take care of you and your family, now accepting new patients. So call them today to schedule your appointment at 774-7425 or find out more at cfmsumter.com.
The doctor will see you now.
Here's a good policy from Bynum Insurance and Auto Owners Insurance. When you buy home and car insurance, you'll receive a multi-policy discount. And when you buy life insurance, you'll get a special discount on your home and car insurance. Auto owners will save you money on all of the insurance you already have. Now that's good policy. This is Karen Schwartz with Bynum Insurance. Call me for all your insurance needs at 803-469-3030.
After my surgery, I heard my children discussing their fear for me to live alone. I wasn't ready to give up my home and freedom, so I called At Your Service Home Care, and now I have my own concierge. It's owned locally by medical professionals. They work with me to make sure that I recovered from my surgery. Now I can stay at home and I have a new friend that I enjoy spending time with. If I need help around the house or have insurance or legal questions or just getting to my hairdresser, they help me with it all. Call At Your Service today for your free consultation, 607-9677.
Reliable Medical Equipment has been locally owned and operated since 1999 and provides a full range of medical equipment and services. Our accredited facility has a fully certified staff, and we are here to assist you with all your diabetic shoe, custom bracing, and prosthetic needs. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, and most private insurances. We're located at 246 Broad Street. Call 934-9212 or 435-9927 for our Manning location, which is at 37 West Rigby Street, voted Best Prosthetic and Orthotic Business for 7 years.
This is Medical Forum, presented by At Your Service Home Care.
And we're back with Medical Forum today. We're talking with Glenn Givens from Cole Murphy and Givens. I'd like to thank our sponsor today, Reliable Medical. Go see Jeff over on Broad Street. What's the phone number over there, Jeff?
934-9212. So go by and see Reliable Medical for all your medical equipment, prosthetic, and respiratory needs. So,
Glenn, we were talking in the last segment about the similarities between the living will and the healthcare power of attorney. Maybe if we can pick back up on that.
Certainly, yes. There's a couple of things about that. In the healthcare power of attorney, there are medical directives within the document itself, and the living will in and of itself, with the choice about whether or not you want tube feeding or intravenous nutrition, basically is a medical directive. But the healthcare power of attorney, it's got these medical directives in it, as well as the fact that it's an agency document. I mean, it's a document where one person as principal is giving another person as agent the power to make medical decisions on their behalf and get and gather medical information, speak with medical professionals, etc. So those are the similarities.
So your HIPAA violations kind of things, right, where someone can speak. So basically a healthcare power of attorney is a document that gives, and we've used the word agent, or we can use the word maybe the son, and in the case of a father being the person that needs this. But basically it's a document that gives the power to make health decisions on your behalf. If I'm incapacitated and I'm sick, I could turn it over to someone, and it's a document that gives them the authorization to speak freely with the physicians and carry on my best wishes. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I mean that's a very good assessment. I mean it does that. Let's see. It also has a provision in there where you can choose whether or not to be an organ donor, and it also has a provision in there which could possibly, where you could state that you want to limit your agent's power under this healthcare power of attorney. Now, as well as these directives that we have discussed, but the limitations part, I normally just advise none. I don't see that the limitations part is really that good of an idea. I mean, an offbeat example would be, all that they have power to make medical decisions over all of my body except for my left foot. It's just not a very good idea to limit their powers in that sense. But
do people sign a living will, or let me ask you this: if I had a situation where I consulted with my father, for example, and these were his wishes, and we even went to the trouble and to consult a professional like yourself. If he didn't sign this, is that a problem? I mean, is that something that all of a sudden that's not valid? How does that work? And is there a reason maybe never not to sign it, or certainly to sign it?
Sure. I mean, it's the issue of, certainly. I mean, if it's your intent, when you get in that bad situation, irreversible coma, persistent vegetative state, about to die in a short amount of time, that if it's your intent that the machines be taken off, the life-sustaining machines and the life support be taken off in that situation, and you have the right to die a natural death, you want to die a natural death in that sense, certainly you want to have it properly signed and executed. But if it is not your intent to do that, then you don't even want or need that document. Or if it's your intent to leave that decision up to your agent, which you can do in the directives in the healthcare power of attorney, then you don't need to be signing that document.
Well, let me go ahead, Chris.
Look, I'd like to make two points from my perspective as a physician. I think these documents are very important, but I think we all need to think about them a lot earlier. The biggest problem I have is patients, clients are thinking about this in the 23rd hour, meaning bad things are happening and the documentation is being scrambled to get together. Whether they have it, sometimes they have had it and it's not readily available. And again, we've talked about this, Jeff, time and time again, about having things done locally. Mm-hmm. And if you have taken care and signed and put this paperwork through, and it was done by a lawyer in New York, and you're now residing in South Carolina, it needs to be filed by a South Carolina lawyer, correct, Glenn? And if it's done by a South Carolina lawyer, especially in Sumter, he has the paperwork, mm-hmm. and he can have that paperwork brought to the table.
Can I? I'm from Indiana. Chris, you're from Pennsylvania. Glenn, you're from local here. So, and I think it's a great question about age, which I want to get to too, and see what when we should start preparing these documents. And I like the fact that they can be changed as our needs change. But if I came from Indiana with a power of attorney or a living will or what have you, does it cross state lines?
The answer is it depends. Okay.
Okay.
With a general durable power of attorney, which I shorthand call a financial power of attorney, just because it's easier in layman's terms to, but it's certainly to describe or remember for layman. But with the general durable power of attorney or general power of attorney, or with the ones that are financial related or non-health related, basically. Yes, if they were, validly executed in those other states, they will be accepted in South Carolina, or should be accepted under the full faith and credit clause of the Constitution of the United States. Now, that's with the general durable power of attorney. With the living will and the healthcare power of attorney, we do have statutory forms under the South Carolina Code that are acceptable, okay? And the language in those statutes that says, well, if it's another form that, that's in substantially the same form as the one that has been prescribed by the statute, then it is acceptable. But how much is substantially the same form is the question. I mean, it'd have to be pretty close in my book, or if it was me, I would certainly want to go ahead, and I would go ahead and get the South Carolina one done if I was in South Carolina.
Fair enough. As we come up on our third break, Glenn Givens here with Culp, Murphy, and Givens, and we'll be back right after this short break.
Back with more on Medical Forum, presented by At Your Service Home Care.
Reliable Medical Equipment has been locally owned and operated since 1999 and provides a full range of medical equipment and services. Our accredited facility has a fully certified staff, and we are here to assist you with all your diabetic shoe, custom bracing, and prosthetic needs. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, and most private insurances. We're located at 246 Broad Street. Call 934-9212 or 435-9927 for our Manning location, which is at 37 West Rigby Street. Voted Best Prosthetic and Orthotic Business for 7 years.
The doctor will see you now.
Are you new to Sumter or been here a while and in need of a new family health care provider? Look no further than the excellent care provided by the physicians and staff at Carolina Family Medicine. Carolina Family Medicine includes Dr. Philip Jansen and Dr. Tracy Ridgel, who both specialize in family medicine, and they're here to take care of you and your family, now accepting new patients. So call them today to schedule your appointment at 774-7425 or find out more at cfmsumter.com.
The doctor will see you now.
Here's a good policy from Bynum Insurance and Auto Owners Insurance. When your policy comes from us, it comes with something extra, a real person. Don't buy from an insurance company with an 800 number and a voicemail menu. Auto Owners Insurance operates exclusively through local independent agencies here to help you with all your insurance needs 24/7. Now that's a good policy. This is Ed Bynum with Bynum Insurance. Call me for all your insurance needs at 803-469-3030.
After my surgery, I heard my children discussing their fear for me to live alone. I wasn't ready to give up my home and freedom, so I called At Your Service Home Care, and now I have my own concierge. It's owned locally by medical professionals. They work with me to make sure that I recovered from my surgery. Now I can stay at home and I have a new friend that I enjoy spending time with. If I need help around the house or have insurance or legal questions or just getting to my hairdresser, they help me with it all. Call At Your Service today for your free consultation, 607-9677.
Now back to Medical Forum, presented by At Your Service Home Care on WDXY, 1240 AM and 105.9 FM.
And we are back on Medical Forum here with Glenn Givens. All of you listening in here on Saturday, July 4th. Happy July 4th. I hope you're having a safe July 4th. It's very early, so have a very safe night. Also, catch us tomorrow. We re-air the show if you missed any of it or you want to catch it again from 2 to 3 on Sunday. I want to give a shout-out to Sumter East Health and Rehabilitation Center. Go there and see Brooke Lucy, the admissions director, and they will help you with all of your physical and rehabilitation needs. We were talking about healthcare power of attorney, and one of the questions, and when we'll talk about some of the difference between it and a general durable power of attorney, but all of us are pretty close to the same age, and I got to be honest with you, it doesn't even dawn on me to prepare for this. And Chris, we both have kids at the high school age or getting close to the high school age. When should we consider this and start lining this up? Well, when do you see people come to see you? Is it like Kristen mentioned on the 23rd hour rather than make it the last thing. Maybe should we be thinking about, here we are in our 40s, about making that the first line of attack?
It's certainly something you can do once you reach the age of majority. I mean, once you reach 18, most people, in their 50s, their 60s, they come see me, it's certainly something that people should do as soon as they can as an adult. Let's say you unfortunately got into a car accident at age 25 and you are unfortunately in a temporary coma. Well, and your brother or your parents are there to make health care or there to make financial decisions on your behalf, and they don't have your financial power of attorney or your general durable power of attorney, then they'd have to go to court, file a conservatorship, and pay probably at least 10 to 15 times the amount of money that it would take to get a general durable power of attorney document taken care of. So,
and I imagine that could play into things like even after death with life insurance policies and bills and things of that. Does it come into beneficiaries? Does it help with beneficiaryship? Really, with these power of attorneys, they're above ground documents. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for after the power, after someone passes, you're talking more, wills.
Who is their personal representative, who is their joint owner of something like that. But a lot of people think too that that's a good point, though, because this is a segue into these joint owners and pay on death accounts. A lot of people think, well, I don't need it, because it's just something else on my checklist. And because I've got people that have joint owners. My daughter is my joint owner on my account. Therefore, I don't need it. She can sign checks if I get incapacitated. Well, these durable power of attorney also, allow people to work with people's taxes, sign their tax returns, deal with their insurance agents, buy and sell property if necessary. There's a whole multitude of things.
And again, these situations that you had referred to, car accidents, they can happen at any age. We're not just talking about dementia that occurs typically in a patient greater than 65. We're talking about anything that can cause someone to become incapacitated, and car accidents, skydiving accidents. It doesn't matter what you do, how young you are, it can happen at any time.
Yeah. Yeah,
and you're protecting the people around you. And helping them make these decisions, and making it easier for them to care for you, kind of taking the burden off of them.
And you probably see this as much or more than I do, but there's a lot of families in South Carolina have 4 or 5 siblings. So we have we may have one of them who's the eldest, who's the most responsible, but not the most readily accessible. So these kind of arguments and things, especially at a very tragic situation where, like you mentioned, young people, most people don't have a burial plot. Then you have what kind of funeral, are they going to be cremated? All of these things that come up, and nobody thinks about that when we're young.
Well, I see the ramifications of not having this paperwork filed, especially as a hospice director. And not everybody on hospice is older. Unfortunately, there are younger people in hospice, and there's a lot of discrepancy in the family because the documents haven't been drawn up.
Both of you on that, talk about that, because Chris, with you being in hospice and Glenn, with you as the attorney, hospice is not necessarily a death sentence as immediate as people think. But obviously we're making strides to stop a lot of preventative maintenance when we go into a hospice situation.
Well, it's a service for palliative care, for comfort measures only.
So if we had a patient, Dr. Marr, and you have admitted them into hospice and they have none of the things that Glenn's talked about, is this not a perfect situation to get with them while they and the caregivers?
Well, what comes into play is maybe one child who wants aggressive care and one child does not want aggressive care. And the care that we want to provide is the care that we think the patient wants.
Right.
And so, correct me if I'm wrong, Glenn, when you're filling out this paperwork, you're deeming the person who you believe will make decisions in your best interest.
Yes, I mean that's true. I mean, as far as amongst the children or the spouse
or spouses, yeah,
you can choose your spouse, your children, whomever. Yes, you want you want to choose from those who are going to work with your best interest, as well as the one who's going to communicate and consult, and then with the other relatives, and then ultimately reflect and work with your best interest. Indeed.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We've all been there. I mean, we see that with. I've seen it firsthand with my family three. My mother has two sisters, and they were just absolutely as tight as can be, and they didn't have all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, as you've talked about. And each daughter loved their mother, but each one of them had kind of a view of how mother would like to, and unfortunately, she had grown sick and gone into a nursing home, and there was not this work that you bring. And as we come up, we'll have one more segment here with Glenn Givens, and we'll continue to talk about what we feel is medical information that and legal information that is a must. It's a must, and it's not just for the older people, but for just about everybody that's out there. So we'll be back after our last segment, and we'll bring our last segment and take our last break.
Back with the latest in health and medical news on Medical Forum, presented by At Your Service Home Care, WDXY 1240 AM and 105.9 FM.
After my surgery, I heard my children discussing their fear for me to live alone. I wasn't ready to give up my home and freedom, so I called At Your Service Home Care, and now I have my own concierge. It's owned locally by medical professionals. They work with me to make sure that I recovered from my surgery. Now I can stay at home, and I have a new friend that I enjoy spending time with. If I need help around the house, or have insurance or legal questions, or just getting to my hairdresser, they help me with it all. Call At Your Service today for your free consultation, 607-9677.
Reliable Medical Equipment has been locally owned and operated since 1999 and provides a full range of medical equipment and services. Our accredited facility has a fully certified staff, and we are here to assist you with all your diabetic shoe, custom bracing, and prosthetic needs. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, and most private insurances. We're located at 246 Broad Street. Call 934-9212 or 435-9927 for our Manning location, which is at 37 West Rigby Street, voted best prosthetic and orthotic business for 7 years.
The doctor will see you now.
Are you new to Sumter or been here a while and in need of a new family health care provider? Look no further than the excellent care provided by the physicians and staff at Carolina Family Medicine. Carolina Family Medicine includes Dr. Philip Jansen and Dr. Tracy Ridgel, who both specialize in family medicine, and they're here to take care of you and your family, now accepting new patients. So call them today to schedule your appointment at 774-7425 or find out more at cfmsumter.com.
The doctor will see you now.
Here's a good policy from Bynum Insurance and Auto Owners Insurance. When your insurance policy comes from us, it comes with something extra, a real person. Don't buy from an insurance company with an 800 number and voicemail menu. Auto Owners Insurance operates exclusively through local independent agencies here to help you with all of your insurance needs 24/7. Now that's good policy. This is Bubba Johnson with Bynum Insurance. Call me for all your insurance needs at 803-469-3030.
This is Medical Forum, presented by At Your Service Home Care.
Welcome back to Medical Forum on July 4th on a Saturday morning. Speaking with Glenn Givens here, I also want to give out a special shout out to Karen Schwartz and all the good people down at Bynum Insurance. if you want good medical, health care, or auto home, go see the people at Bynum at 1170 Wilson Hall Road. Phone number there, 469-3030. For those of you who might be joining as we come down on our last segment, we've got Glenn Givens here from Colt Murphy and Givens on Main Street at 418-0801. And we've been talking about power of attorney, general durable power of attorney, living wills, and I think all three of them are something that need individual attention with a professional. But I think what we really have taken from this is that no time like the present. We think about getting these done as Chris said, on the 23rd hour, and when this is something that for your spouse, for your loved ones, for your children, let's get this done. Let's get it documented. And we've talked about age is really not, we see it more often when people reach the twilight of their year. But let's assume that everyone's listened and done exactly what Glenn, everyone has come in, they've come in and seen you. Now I have all my documents, I've got all my I's crossed, my I's dotted, my T's crossed. What do we do with these documents to make sure that they're A, safely kept, and B, where somebody knows how to get to them?
Certainly. You're talking about three different documents, two of them that are medical related, the healthcare power of attorney and the living will, and the one that's more financial and business and related, the general durable power of attorney. But let's start with the healthcare power of attorney and the living will, if you have a living will. So the first thing is you have the original of each of those documents, and then typically I give people at least 3 copies of those documents. One copy to keep with their original, and then one copy to give with the first agent, and then another copy to give to their family physician. And then that way they can have it for their file or scan it for their file, so forth. And then with the first copy that they have, they can always make another copy or take that copy if they ever need to go to the hospital or to a nursing home or something along those lines. They have that there with the original. Certainly keep it in a fireproof safe or a fireproof box or safety deposit box with that. General durable power of attorney, kind of the same thing. You want to get about 3 copies of that. One copy to the agent while keeping the original and telling your agent where the original is kept. Keep a copy for yourself, and maybe give a third copy to a backup agent or successor agent.
Glenn, do you keep one on record in your office as well?
I certainly do. Yeah, that's the 4th copy. I certainly keep one of each document in my file, not the originals, but in my file.
I've seen this happen before, and you might be able to speak on this. Again, they seek a professional. We always recommend a local professional. You've got all the documents. You've got one. The attorney has one. And then that person who's been granted these rights, he passes first. So should there be a backup? Is there a backup plan for the agent, for the principal there?
Yeah, certainly, most certainly. With these state forms for this healthcare power of attorney, you have 2 successor or backup agents on the form. And with my general durable power of attorney, there's a place that I always ask for them to put down a backup or successor agent in case the original agent has predeceased them or has become incapacitated or has moved. So that's always very important. I've seen general durable power of attorneys before with no backup agent and mildly shocked when I see that done by but it's just preferable to have these successor agents.
So you see that in the hospital, for example, that if once we've got these 3 documents, does a hospital generally require people to also sign one when someone visits? Have you ever?
Yeah, I have seen hospitals in the past. For instance, a hospital I worked at in Pennsylvania required a new, freshly signed advanced directive order on the front of every chart with every admission.
Wow.
At least they did we did our best to try to get them on the front of every chart. That was kind of stapled, for lack of a better term, to any advanced directives that the patient would bring to the hospital.
You see that typically too, Glenn, with in South Carolina as well, that maybe a hospital wants to. Would you bring that to the hospital?
Certainly.
Yeah, I think that's what people don't understand.
I would have no reservations about bringing the state form for the healthcare power of attorney and the living will to the hospital for them to have. And even if you're not being admitted, for future reference, and if you foresee going to this local Toomey hospital, you can go and have them scan it for your medical file. There's nothing wrong with that.
Wow.
And for those who aren't thinking about it, if your family member's in a skilled nursing facility, if they're in an assisted living facility, any sort of residential care facility, these documents need to be with them.
Interesting. Well, we've got about 2 minutes left. It's been a wealth of knowledge for starters, Glenn, and I think that what we've learned is that this is too important to not go seek a professional with it. And I think that there's 3 sets of information that we need. One deals with living, and one deals with dying, and one lives with how we go about possibly dying, for layman's terms. And then we need to carry that, almost like, if not to parallel with a passport, but it's important that we keep that information and we share it with our medical community as we go through life. And I think the final thing that we might take from this is that no time like the present. And there's so many things we've all vectored through on the 23rd hour, as you said, Chris. The last thing we want to worry about is siblings arguing over assets, the way a parent is perceived to have wanted to die, and things like that. So spelling out that it's you got enough traumatic incidences that are going to happen. And Glenn, we appreciate you coming in on a steamy, hopefully not so bad, July 4th morning. I hope you have a great July 4th, Chris. Hope you can get to the golf course as we close this down. I want to thank all of our sponsors at your service: Reliable Medical Equipment, Colonial Family Practice, Bynum Insurance, Toomey Hospital. Glenn, go by and see Glenn. Thank you for coming in. Colt Murphy Givens here in Sumter, as we recommend, stay local, 107 North Main Street. Give them a call at 803-418-0801, and I believe extension 108.
That's right.
And Glenn, thank you so much, and we'll have you back, because I know we're just scratching the surface. All right.
I appreciate y'all inviting me.
Thank you, and we'll see everyone next week.